Welcome back to the graveyard. My name's Ed, and I will be your graveyard wizard today. We're almost done with the sketchbook. So close. There you got to see a front flip through. So I've been looking at this rug in my living room when I do my little morning workouts. And I've been really into some of these kind of floral patterns. So I figured I'd play around, do a little sketching, and see if I can kind of get a fun little design going. There's something really fun about the way that these kind of traditional rug floral patterns, I see them a lot on fabrics, and they both seem intricate and simple. And I think I found this a little more challenging because it seemed so simple when I was looking at it, and then as I was drawing it, I kind of wanted to add detail, and then I was trying to figure out exactly how to add that detail, and that kind of became its own little hill to climb, if you will. So there's this initial flower that I have on top there. There's another kind of grouping of kind of foliage, and this was another one where I like the shape that it has on the rug, but I was finding it difficult to recreate in a way that didn't just feel like a rug design. I was trying to make it, and I try here on this other page to kind of play with the shapes, and I like the flow that it had, but it was always seemed like it was kind of reaching in a way. Oh, hello. It was reaching in a way that I wasn't. It just, even in the sketches when your marks are the loosest, it seemed like it wasn't kind of coming together. So I decided on the first sketch. Sometimes the first idea is the best idea. Rarely, but it happens. So I decided I'd throw it into Procreate and kind of play with it. It's nice, makes it a little easier to kind of build layers, and instead of erasing, you can just undo layers. So I'm kind of sketching here. These little under flower petals were really challenging me. That's always an area. There's a few areas of the flower that I feel like I'm constantly fighting against, and it's sometimes the center, and then it's these little shoots underneath can be kind of challenging, and I think it's because I've seen them done really right, and they feel almost integral to the design if you get them right, and if you don't, they stick out so much. And I'm playing here, I'm kind of playing with the way that it almost looks like fire at first, and I didn't want it to look too fire-like, so I'm kind of just roughing in some of these body designs. I wanted to add some more petals so it felt more flower. I mean, you saw that I like a good peony, so I figured I'd kind of give it them peony kind of feeling leaves. And then as far as a sketch, at least on the InDesign or the Procreate, sometimes even just lining, I go back over the outline, but sometimes just lining things starts to make it feel a little bit different, and you can kind of get a different feel for it. And that happens with this stem. I kind of go back and redesign that a little bit because I was just having a hard time that there's so much movement up at the top, and I think it works when it's in a rug because there's so many different things going on. But as a standalone design, I wanted to kind of change the way that stem was feeling. So I got it outlined. Here's where I'm kind of playing with that stem. I basically created another sketch layer so I can just kind of get an idea for how that's going to feel. I was going to kind of mirror it, and I ditched that idea pretty quickly. Looking back now, I'm like, oof. It just looks so wonky, but sometimes you just gotta, whether it's obvious or not, I'm definitely a visual person, so I have to see things. That's why I like having a sketchbook, because I just need to see things and the way different marks are made. Sometimes I need to be able to just put it down, and then I'll know if I like it or not. But until that point, then I'm not 100% sure. You have to forgive me, my voice, the allergies. It's the allergy time of the year, so I feel like my voice is a little scratchy. My sinuses are a little wonky in general. I always enjoy putting these kind of directional vein lines. Out here I was trying to figure out what to do with these kind of flamey bits. And I figured I'd kind of make them not look like, not petals and not quite like blooms, but I wanted them to feel floral or organic. I just was having a hard time exactly figuring out the directionality of everything. Was giving me a hard time. And again, sometimes you just have to play with it and see which way things feel, what feels right. Sometimes the more you do it, the more you can kind of get it on the first shot. But I don't do these shapes a ton, so it took me a while to make them not feel... They still, I mean, I probably could, like anything, I could rework this a few more times, and I think it still would benefit from that, but you know, this isn't a final design. So again, you're just kind of having fun with it, letting it... I'm using my instincts thus far that I've developed. Other than that, it's kind of just play. And here I'm starting to finally put color in. I wanted to use colors that were similar to... here's a little bit of shading. Kind of just use my smudge tool and whip that out. I wanted the colors to be similar to the rug, but even when I was pulling the colors directly from the rug, I felt like they were a little more anemic than I was wanting. So I played with the colors a little bit, but for the most part, they're at least referential. And I think that ended up pretty fun. Here I'm putting in a bold outline. I wasn't 100% sure if this was going to add to it or not, but I think when you see the final, you can see all the spots where I colored outside the lines. It kind of hides those sins, and as well as it just kind of, as any good, you know, thick outline for illustration, it kind of sets it apart, gives it a solid base, and then kind of lets everything work within it. I always find it so satisfying watching these big thick lines go down, so I'll let you enjoy. And here's the final design. I think it's fun. I don't know, you know, I don't know if I'm gonna frame it and put it on my wall, but I think it's a fun, wonky little design, especially for something that I look at every morning. So hopefully you enjoyed. I'll see you next time.